There is a reason your spirit has felt restless lately, and it is not because you are imagining things or becoming overly emotional. Something enormous has been moving beneath the surface of your life, slowly rearranging the energetic structure connected to security, survival, money, and self-worth. And today, that process reaches a threshold that cannot be ignored anymore. This is not simply another Taurus New Moon passing quietly through the sky. What arrives on May 16th, 2026, at exactly 4 in the afternoon, carries the weight of the financial turning point that has been unfolding for 7 long years behind the scenes of your reality. Many people will look at this moment and reduce it to positive thinking, manifestation rituals, or writing wishes in a notebook before bed. But that interpretation barely scratches the surface of what is actually happening. The truth is far more intense than that. The universe is drawing a line between the version of your life built during instability and the version that can finally begin taking root in steadier ground. For years, it has felt almost impossible to hold on to certainty. Every time you tried to create consistency, something shifted. Plans changed overnight. Financial pressure appeared out of nowhere. Opportunities dissolved before they could fully form. Deep down, part of you began questioning whether stability was even possible anymore. That exhaustion you had been carrying was not just emotional, it was energetic. Uranus, moving through Taurus for the past 7 years, created constant disruption in the areas connected to material security, personal income, and collective financial systems. It was like trying to stand upright in the middle of a storm that never completely stopped shaking the ground beneath your feet. Markets fluctuated violently. Entire industries transformed without warning. Inflation, uncertainty, sudden reversals, unstable economies, all of it reflected the same cosmic pattern. Even on a personal level, people everywhere began re-evaluating what wealth actually means, because the old definitions no longer felt safe or reliable. But now something has changed, and your nervous system already knows it before your conscious mind fully understands why. Just days ago, Uranus finally moved into Gemini, and with that shift, the pressure that has been crushing the Taurus sector begins to release. The chaos that defined this cycle is no longer sitting directly on top of the energetic field connected to money, possessions, survival, and grounded stability. The shaking has slowed. The dust is beginning to settle. And what makes this new moon so important is that it becomes the very first major Taurus lunar reset, occurring immediately after this 7-year cycle of disruption finally loosened its grip. This is why the energy around you feels different, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. Imagine spending years trying to plant seeds in cracked earth during an endless series of earthquakes. No matter how hard you worked, no matter how sincere your intentions were, the ground never stayed still long enough for roots to fully form. That has been the emotional reality for so many people. You may have blamed yourself for not moving faster, not succeeding sooner, or not holding everything together perfectly. But the truth is, the energetic environment itself was unstable. The soil kept breaking apart beneath your efforts. And now, for the first time in years, that soil is becoming still again. The old debris has been cleared away. The stagnant energy has been uprooted. What remains is ground that has been prepared through pressure, loss, uncertainty, and transformation for this exact moment of rebuilding. This is what astrologers truly mean when they describe this as a wealth reset. Not a fantasy, not empty motivation. An actual energetic reconfiguration taking place after years of dismantling outdated structures. The intentions planted under this Taurus New Moon are not entering exhausted terrain anymore. They are entering fertile ground that has been broken open and reshaped so something stronger can finally grow. That is why the next 24 hours matter so deeply. You are standing at the edge of a threshold where the choices you make emotionally, mentally, and energetically begin attaching themselves to a completely different frequency of reality. Most people will sleep through this moment without realizing it is happening. They will continue repeating old fears, old scarcity patterns, old survival habits, without noticing that the energetic environment around them has already started changing. But some people, the ones paying attention, can already feel the shift moving through their body. They feel the strange pressure in their chest, the tension in their throat, the sensation that something inside them wants to finally speak, finally release, finally claim a different future, but cannot yet fully find the words. That feeling is not random. Your body is reacting to the transition before your mind catches up. Because deep down, a part of you already recognizes that this moment is asking for more than passive hope. It is asking you to realize that the era of constant collapse has ended. And whether you are ready or not, the universe is beginning to open a completely new chapter around abundance, security, and personal value. And what your physical body is trying to tell you right now may become the key to understanding why this shift feels so deeply personal to you. There is a reason your throat has felt different lately, and the strange part is that your body understood this shift before your mind did. Maybe you noticed moments where your throat suddenly tightened for no clear reason. Maybe there has been pressure sitting at the base of your neck, or an irritating sensation like words are trapped inside you, waiting to be released. Some people will dismiss it as stress, exhaustion, or anxiety, but what is happening now reaches deeper than ordinary emotion. Your body is responding to the energetic mechanics of this Taurus New Moon long before most people even realize what is unfolding around them. Taurus has always ruled the throat in astrology. It governs the vocal cords, the neck, the thyroid, and every physical mechanism connected to speaking, declaring, expressing, and giving form to what exists inside you. That matters more than you think right now, because this new moon is not centered around silence. It is not asking you to hide your desires quietly inside your mind, while hoping the universe somehow interprets them correctly. This energy operates through sound, vibration, and physical expression. And the strange sensation in your throat is your energetic system preparing you to finally use your voice in a way you may have avoided for years. The truth is, many people have spent their entire lives suppressing what they really wanted. They learned to stay quiet to avoid rejection. They learned to minimize their desires so nobody would judge them. They convinced themselves that speaking openly about abundance, success, wealth, or personal longing somehow made them selfish, unrealistic, or foolish. Over time, silence became survival. But under this Taurus new moon, silence becomes resistance. That is why your body feels activated right now. Something inside you is pushing against the old conditioning that taught you to swallow your truth instead of declaring it. The astrological blueprint behind this moment makes the message impossible to ignore. The Sabian symbol connected to 26 degrees Taurus, where this new moon lands, is a Spanish gallant serenades his beloved. That image is not decorative symbolism. It is instruction. The gallant does not sit silently hoping love arrives. He does not hide his longing or whisper his desires into darkness. He steps forward and uses his voice. He creates vibration. He projects emotion into the physical world through sound itself. He becomes resonance. And that symbolism reveals exactly how this new moon wants to be worked with. Your voice becomes the bridge between desire and manifestation. This is why the pressure in your throat has been building. Your body is preparing you to vocalize what your soul has been afraid to claim openly. Under this energy, wealth is not simply connected to hard labor or forceful pursuit. It becomes connected to frequency, self-permission, and energetic congruence. You are not meant to chase endlessly anymore. You are meant to align so completely with what you desire that your entire energetic field begins broadcasting a new signal outward. Most people misunderstand manifestation because they treat it like a private mental exercise. They write intentions down mechanically, repeat affirmations without emotion, or sit quietly visualizing outcomes while their deeper subconscious still believes success belongs to somebody else. But this Taurus New Moon exposes the flaw in that approach. Sound carries power. Words carry vibration. Emotion transmitted through the human voice becomes energetic movement. And that is why speaking your intentions aloud matters so much during this portal. Your voice forces your desires out of hiding. It transforms abstract thought into physical frequency. The moment you speak with conviction, your nervous system begins hearing the truth you have been too afraid to fully embody. And when that happens, something changes internally. Money stops feeling distant. Abundance stops feeling forbidden. The future you desire no longer feels like fantasy because your body has begun accepting it as real. But before this portal fully opens, another force arrives first. And this part of the energy is far more intense than most people are prepared for. Exactly 27 minutes before the Taurus New Moon reaches its peak, Mars collides with Chiron at 28 degrees Aries. This is not soft healing energy. This is confrontation at the deepest psychological level. Mars in Aries is pure fire, instinct, aggression, movement, and survival force operating at maximum strength inside its ruling sign. Chiron in Aries represents the wound surrounding identity, courage, self-worth, and the right to exist unapologetically. When these two archetypes meet moments before the money portal opens, the result becomes emotionally explosive. Suddenly, everything you have buried around, failure, rejection, inadequacy, and shame, begins rising toward the surface. Old memories may return without warning. Moments where you felt invisible. Times you accepted less than you deserved because you secretly believed that was all you could receive. Financial disappointments, humiliations, opportunities you talked yourself out of because fear convinced you that success belonged to other people, not you. The intensity of these emotions may feel overwhelming at first because Mars forces wounds into the open aggressively. It does not gently ask you to reflect. It exposes, it agitates, it pressures everything hidden beneath the surface until it can no longer stay buried. That is why some people may suddenly feel anger today without understanding why. Others may feel grief, frustration, resentment, or unexpected shame. But this conjunction is not appearing to punish you. It is appearing because the Taurus money portal cannot stabilize around a foundation poisoned by hidden unworthiness. You cannot magnetize abundance while secretly believing you are undeserving of receiving it. The universe cannot anchor wealth into a nervous system still programmed for survival and self-rejection. So before the portal opens fully, Mars and Chiron force the wound into visibility. They reveal the internal sabotage that has been operating silently beneath your desires all along. And painful as that process may feel, it carries the possibility of something life-changing, because the moment you finally recognize the voice inside you that has been denying your worth, you also reach the moment where you no longer have to obey it. What is happening right now is not meant to destroy you, even if it feels emotionally intense in the moment. This is the opening of a wound that was buried so deeply you may have forgotten how much power it still held over your decisions, your confidence, and your relationship with success itself. The Mars and Chiron conjunction, arriving 27 minutes before the Taurus New Moon, is not random timing. It is precise, almost surgical. The universe is not asking you to carry these feelings for months while slowly trying to understand them. It is bringing them to the surface now because this portal requires immediate transformation. The pain is being exposed so it can become movement instead of limitation. That is why the emotions rising inside you may feel unusually sharp today. Old failures suddenly seem vivid again. Moments you thought you had already moved past return with surprising intensity. Rejection, humiliation, financial disappointment, memories of not being chosen, not being supported, not being seen as enough, all of it may rise at once like pressure finally breaking through the surface. But this is not happening, so you stay trapped in those emotions. It is happening because those emotions contain energy, and energy that has been suppressed eventually becomes poison inside the nervous system. Mars refuses to let it remain buried any longer. It drags the wound into the light, because the same force that once created shame can become fuel the moment you stop running from it. The anger connected to your past disappointments can become clarity about what you will never settle for again. The fear of failure can become the fire that finally pushes you to move differently. The shame that convinced you to stay small can become fierce self-respect. This is the hidden mechanism behind the wealth reset taking place under this Taurus New Moon. It is not only about attracting money. It is about healing the internal fracture that made abundance feel unsafe or unreachable in the first place. Many people secretly fear their own ambition. They fear what success would demand from them. They fear being judged, rejected, envied, or abandoned if they fully step into their power. Some learned very early in life that wanting more was dangerous. Others were taught that survival mattered more than fulfillment. Over time, they disconnected from the warrior inside themselves, the part willing to pursue victory unapologetically. But the Mars and Chiron conjunction forces a confrontation with that lost part of you. It asks whether you are finally willing to stop apologizing for wanting stability, wealth, opportunity, and expansion. Because once you move through this emotional threshold, the Taurus New Moon is waiting on the other side with completely different energy. Clean, grounded, stable, ready to receive what you consciously choose to plant into it. And if you have been paying close attention lately, part of you already knows this moment has been approaching. The signs surrounding you have become impossible to ignore. The repeating numbers appearing everywhere. The strange synchronicities connected to money and abundance. The conversations about finances that seem to follow you unexpectedly. The recurring amounts, symbols, and patterns showing up in ordinary moments with almost unsettling precision. You look at the clock and see 11:11. You glance at a receipt and notice 22:22. Addresses, timestamps, random totals, license plates, all echoing the same repeating signals. And recently, it may have become even more specific than that. Dollar signs appearing repeatedly. Conversations about wealth surfacing constantly around you. Financial opportunities suddenly entering your awareness. This is not coincidence. Before major energetic shifts occur, reality often begins communicating symbolically. The veil separating the physical and energetic worlds becomes thinner, and synchronicities increase because your consciousness is beginning to tune in to a different frequency. These repeating signs are not random decorations placed in your path. They are confirmation codes. Signals telling you that your awareness is already shifting toward a new energetic channel connected to abundance. The more you notice them, the stronger they become. Because attention itself strengthens alignment. You are proving that you are awake enough to recognize the language the universe is using to communicate with you. And what is fascinating is that many of you have not only been seeing repeating numbers, but specific amounts connected to money itself. Some of you keep encountering 1333. Others repeatedly see 10,000, or another amount that appears strangely personal and emotionally charged. Those numbers may feel random at first, but under this Taurus New Moon, they may actually represent energetic markers tied to what you are preparing to manifest. Your consciousness is expanding before the portal fully opens, and as it expands, opportunities, ideas, and possibilities that once felt invisible suddenly begin standing directly in front of you. Conversations you would have ignored before now feel meaningful. Financial pathways that once seemed impossible begin looking attainable. This is the pre-portal activation already beginning to move through your life. But there is another layer to these signs that most people never realize. They are not only guiding you, They are testing you. The universe is observing whether you trust what you are being shown, whether you are willing to believe that these synchronicities carry meaning instead of dismissing them as coincidence, whether you have enough courage to emotionally claim the abundance being placed in front of your awareness. Because when this portal fully opens, certainty matters. Doubt weakens manifestation under Taurus energy because Taurus works through embodiment, conviction, and grounded belief. That is why your voice becomes so important now. Everything has been building toward this exact realization. The sensation in your throat was never meaningless. The pressure inside your chest was never random. The Sabian symbol has been revealing the answer from the very beginning. The gallant serenades his beloved. He does not remain silent. He does not keep his longing trapped inside thought. He externalizes it. He transforms desire into sound, vibration, and physical resonance. And this new moon demands the same from you. Manifestation under this portal cannot remain hidden inside your mind as vague hope or silent wishing. It must move through the body. It must move through the voice. Because the moment you finally speak your desires aloud with certainty instead of fear, something irreversible begins shifting inside your energetic field, and that shift may become the very thing that determines whether this new chapter truly opens for you. What most people fail to understand about this Taurus New Moon is that it is not responding to silent wishes hidden inside the mind. This energy reacts to embodiment, sound, physicality, and emotional certainty. That is why the image of the gallant serenading his beloved matters so deeply within the Sabian symbolism of this lunation. He does not sit in isolation quietly hoping his desires somehow drift into reality on their own. He uses his voice as an instrument of creation. He sends vibration outward into the physical world. He transforms longing into resonance. And before midnight tonight, you are being asked to do exactly the same thing. Your financial intentions cannot remain trapped inside thought anymore. They must move through your body and become audible, not whispered timidly under your breath, not spoken half-heartedly while doubt still controls your nervous system. They must be declared with emotional force, with grounded conviction, with the full vibration of your voice moving through the air around you. Because sound is not symbolic. Sound is physical power. Every word you speak creates actual waves moving through space. Your voice carries frequency, pressure, emotion, and intention simultaneously. And under this Taurus New Moon, which governs the material world, physical resources, money, security, and embodiment, that process becomes astrologically significant. You are taking something invisible inside your mind and giving it physical structure through vibration itself. You are translating desire into matter. This is why manifestation during this portal cannot stay theoretical. The universe is not being asked to guess what you want through vague emotional signals. You are being called to state it so clearly, so directly, and with such emotional congruence that your entire energetic field begins organizing around it. But the way you speak matters more than most people realize. This is not about repeating desperate phrases like someone begging reality for permission to survive. The emotional signature behind your words determines the frequency you create. If you speak from lack, fear, or desperation, your nervous system continues broadcasting scarcity even while saying positive words. That is why simple statements like wanting more money are not enough under this energy. Taurus demands embodiment. It demands certainty. It demands that your body begin emotionally experiencing abundance before physical evidence fully arrives. This is why the Japanese practice of yoshuku becomes so powerful here. The art of pre-celebration is not fantasy or denial. It is energetic alignment. You speak as though the reality already exists, because doing so shifts your nervous system into resonance with the frequency of receiving. Instead of hoping for stability, you announce yourself as already anchored within it. Instead of pleading for abundance, you embody someone who already recognizes it flowing toward them naturally. Statements like, "I am deeply supported financially. The earth provides me with endless opportunity. Wealth flows toward me in ways that honor my values." These are not wishes sent into emptiness. They become declarations of identity. And identity is what changes frequency most powerfully. Your subconscious mind responds to your spoken voice differently than it responds to silent thought. Thoughts drift constantly, often unnoticed, but spoken words carry emotional authority, especially when they are expressed with conviction, emotion, and physical embodiment. When you hear your own voice declaring abundance as truth, your subconscious begins reorganizing around that signal. Old scarcity patterns begin weakening. Years of fear-based conditioning start losing their grip. This is not imagination. It is nervous system retraining through sound, emotion, and repetition. Your throat has been activating because your body already understands that your voice is the instrument required for this portal. The tension you felt earlier was preparation. The pressure building inside your chest was preparation. Your system has been waiting for the moment you finally stop suppressing your desires and begin expressing them openly. That is why tonight matters. Before midnight, you need to create space for this consciously. Find somewhere that feels grounded and emotionally safe. If lighting a candle helps your body focus, do it. Let yourself become fully present physically. Feel your feet connected to the floor. Feel the movement of your breath. Feel the vibration inside your chest. Then speak. Speak slowly enough that your body can feel the resonance of your words. Let the sound move through the room. Let your declarations become physical waves entering the energetic field around you. And as strange as it may seem at first, something begins shifting the longer you do this. Your intentions stop feeling imaginary because your body starts accepting them as emotionally real. Not because you are pretending, but because you are aligning. Frequency recognizes frequency. The more your internal state matches the energetic reality of abundance, the more naturally magnetism begins occurring. Opportunities feel closer. Confidence increases. Resistance softens. And that is where this Taurus portal becomes especially powerful, because Taurus energy does not want disconnected fantasy. It wants grounded embodiment, supported by physical action. Which is why speaking your intentions aloud is only one part of what this new moon requires. There are still 2 additional rituals connected to the mechanics of this portal, and according to the astrological structure surrounding this lunation, they are not optional symbolic gestures. They are physical anchors designed to pull energetic intention into material form. Taurus is fixed earth energy. It responds to touch, sensation, texture, materiality, and consistency. So the first ritual centers around making wealth tangible instead of abstract. This is where the money bowl becomes important, not because the object itself contains magical power, but because it trains your nervous system to physically interact with abundance instead of emotionally distancing yourself from it. The bowl should feel substantial, grounded, and connected to natural materials. Ceramic, wood, brass, something that carries earthy permanence rather than fragility. Inside it, you place physical representations of wealth. Real bills. Real coins. Enough to create emotional reality around the ritual rather than vague symbolism. Then you add botanical elements, historically connected to prosperity. Bay leaves carrying written financial goals. Cinnamon connected to acceleration and energetic movement. Basil associated with abundance and expansion. And then come the crystals aligned with Taurus earth energy. Green aventurine for opportunity and luck. Pyrite for attraction and magnetism around wealth. Citrine for manifestation and energetic amplification. Whether someone believes in crystals literally or symbolically is almost secondary here. because what matters psychologically is that every element inside this bowl becomes part of a sensory relationship with abundance. You are teaching your body to stop treating wealth as distant or inaccessible. Once assembled, the bowl should remain somewhere visible and meaningful, near the entrance of your home, on an altar, somewhere your eyes and nervous system interact with consistently. Because this ritual is not designed as a one-time performance, it becomes an ongoing energetic relationship with receiving, grounding, and allowing abundance to remain physically present in your reality instead of emotionally pushed away.